light. All right. This is Jackie, and I'm here with Boston Manor, here at New York City, Jones Beach, Warped Tour. How you guys doing so far today?
Really
Awesome.
good.
Doing
Yep.
good?
Yeah, sick.
Nice. Enjoying the weather. It's not Phoenix, so that's always good. That's always a plus, I'm sure. How did you handle Vegas and Phoenix those dates?
We didn't. It was so bad.
So we had an off day a few days before Vegas when we were actually in Vegas just chilling, and it was 52 degrees Celsius, which I think in Fahrenheit is like 124 or something. And somebody told us that it was like 4 degrees below the hottest ever recorded temperature. So we were just laughing. Weren't we? Like, this is ridiculous.
You're like, I'm
Yeah.
done.
But yeah.
You're just
I'm
wheezing.
not going anywhere.
Because you can't actually breathe. You're just breathing in more hot air.
The
So you
air's
can't
hotter
even...
than the sun, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
You guys have had quite a busy 2017, headliner, Slam Dunk Fest. How did shows like that prepare you for Warped Tour?
I'm sorry, I've got something in my
Well,
throat.
see, they've lost their voices already from all the shows.
Some coffee. Just in my throat. It didn't really. We didn't really know what to expect coming to Warped Tour, because we've never done something as kind of vast as this before. So we just kind of just take it day by day, and it's more it's kind of like a family vibe. It's a 24-hour thing. You have to get up, you have to set up merch, everything. It's not just like a club tour where you can just
You're only working from 3 till midnight. Yeah. You wake up at 8 o'clock and you're at Warped Tour. You go to bed, you're at Warped Tour. It's like a full, like you say, 24-hour thing. But
yeah. So club touring just didn't really have any kind of help at all, really, because this is completely just it's on its own thing.
They threw you in, said good luck.
Yeah, pretty much.
And deal with the heat.
Yeah.
Nice. What are some highlights so far of tour other than the abysmal heat? Some more positive, some more fun things.
I mean, the sets have just been great. Particularly the last sort of week or so from kind of Florida upwards, they've been brilliant, man. Really, really more than we expected. It's a cool stage. There's a lot of good bands playing at the whole thing. So I don't use the word competing, but there's people that are going to go and watch other bands instead of you. So. And some days you'll clash with a really sick band and no one will turn up, but not no one, but you know what I mean.
I think the off days have been quite.
Well, I was going to say
a highlight of it. Just spending off days in Vegas, we've never been to Vegas, swimming in lakes,
swimming in the Colorado River. Went to the beach with a bunch of our friends like Trophy Eyes and Movements and Not Loose, and went a lot of swimming. Really, we've just been swimming a lot, really. But it's been
getting sunburnt. Pretty much, yeah.
It's good compensation for the heat. You go jump in some cool water. That makes sense to me. How do fans differ, or if they don't at all, how are they similar across the pond?
What do you think?
I don't know. They're kind of the same.
I think people seem a lot more excited over here, which is really cool. Yeah, people seem like people want to come up and talk to you a lot more, and people seem really welcoming, and people have brought us stuff to the merch, snacks and stuff like that, and we get that a little bit at home as well, but everyone just seems really stoked.
I guess
over
it's
here.
more we're more of a new thing over here because obviously we've only toured it 3 times.
This being the third.
Yeah, so obviously in the UK we've toured there a bunch of times over the last 3 years, so we're kind of old news, I guess, in the UK. But here it's kind of like a new thing. So
you're fresh and new and exciting.
Yeah.
Think about it that way. Yeah. So how do you guys go about choosing your set list for Warped Tour, since you have clearly different experience?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is kind of there's certain songs that just work well in certain places. We usually play Like a Last, which is arguably our kind of most popular song. And Burn You Up's the intro to the album, and it just kind of works well as an intro to a set as well. But then little things I don't know, we just had a bunch of people hitting us up saying play Broken Glass. We don't normally play that. We play that on headline sets, but not normally on 25-minute, 30-minute sets. But we were like, yeah, all right, we'll play that. And then some days we'll just be like, oh, let's just do this one today. But usually it's trial and error. We put the album out in September, so we've been playing these songs for 6-8 months now. So you kind of get a feel for what works and what doesn't. There's some songs on the album that just don't quite translate well live, so we just kind of don't really play them. But some of them, you just know where to put it,
Yeah, sometimes mid-set we kind of think, oh, shall we play this one instead? Because depending on the crowd reaction, we want to obviously play the ones that kind of would
fit that set.
Yeah, fit that set, fit that crowd. So sometimes mid-set we'll change it about, just depending on the crowd.
Yeah, yesterday, kids were super hyped, going pretty crazy. So we played Stop, Try and Be Nothing, which is quite a fast song. Whereas sometimes we play Broken Glass instead. But we were just I just kind of nodded at Jordan and we were like, cool, so we just play that instead.
Speaking of how things translate live, any plans to make more music videos?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, definitely. We're pretty hands-on with the video stuff. We like to be quite involved in all that kind of thing. But yeah, as we start to make more music, like we're a kind of band that think about it, I'd say pretty early on, don't we? We at least have that conversation about, what would work with it as we're writing it and stuff. And yeah, the next batch of videos that we'll do for whenever we do another record, I think is going to be a big step up from our last thing. I think we know what we're doing now, and we know how we want ourselves to be kind of portrayed visually this time around, for sure. But we like doing, they're hard, but we like doing videos. It's a lot of fun.
What role do you see music streaming sites have in what you do, like Spotify and things like that?
Sorry, say that again.
What role do you see sites like Spotify have in your career, where kids aren't going out and buying a whole CD anymore?
Yeah, that's
now
like
what?
that's like the main source of people when they go on and find new bands. Like they find playlists with like new bands that they've never particularly heard of before. So like Spotify and all those things that we get put on is like a big kind of like platform for us. It's coming from like the UK and in the US, we're not quite big yet, so that's kind of a big deal, I guess, for it.
It's kind of like having I guess it's like the new age radio, like it's more like a radio station these days. Like your song will be put on playlists which are actually like put together by like a bunch of like almost like radio DJs or whatever.
It's strategic,
so
right?
it's strategic, and like I guess like it does get your music out a lot better than if you just sell CDs in the stores and stuff like that. But at the same time, though, I feel like it's kind of destroying albums and records. And I'm a big fan of like listening to a record in its entirety. And I feel like Spotify doesn't really promote that. People just kind of pick the singles and listen to those,
You know what, though? I totally agree with you, but I think that music streaming has been a thing, or at least being able to download music illegally has been a thing for nearly a decade now. And I think albums are still hanging in there. They're like, there's nowhere near as much money in music as there was, but people still buy records. We still sell a lot of vinyl, and plenty of CDs.
Revivals definitely helped.
CDs we sell more here in here. We sell more here than we do in the UK. But I think like if it was going to die a death, like the album, I think it would have done it already.
Yeah.
But you definitely have to take into consideration the fact that it is a singles market, and people are just going to download one song for 79p or 99 cents or whatever on iTunes, which is weird because like we grew up buying CDs in stores, and you would listen to the album. There was so much, and I think we did that with our album. Put like consideration into like a track listing, and for it to be digested as a full body of work rather than just a list of songs. Yeah.
Well, and listening to them in that specific order while you're like looking at the cover art and you're reading through. It's funny because around here it's sometimes very hard to get a tangible CD or to find the tangible CD you're looking for, other than perhaps on Friday when music comes out.
Really?
Unless I still buy the tangible albums, and I go to Best Buy and I'm like, you had 3 copies and they're gone.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
I mean, thanks to those 3 people, you're still buying tangible music. That's awesome. I would like one too. Please share. So it's like now I've got to resort to Amazon. So I think it's great to be here at Warp because kids can go after they've heard a band and go back to getting those actual tangible CDs.
That's the thing. They do actually buy CDs. If they didn't, if it was going, like I said, if it was going to die a death totally, I think we wouldn't be able to sell those. But obviously, it's nowhere near the numbers they used to be. If I was doing this 15 years ago, I'd have a lot more money than I do right now. But yeah. But no, I think it's great, and it's really nice to see kids like. Personally, I'm like a vinyl collector and stuff, and just seeing the artwork bigger physically in front of you, and I always used to read like the inserts and the booklets and stuff when I was a kid, and all the other art, because we have like obviously the cover art, but then there's loads of different art in our inserts and our booklets that were made by the same artist to be digested as one thing. So, but kids still do it. They do pick them up.
Yeah, because you see fans that come to one of the shows or whatever and say, "Oh, I've already downloaded the album. I've just come to get like a physical copy."
And you're like, "Yes,
that's awesome. It. Yeah, of course. So.
Well, then that's a good version of that system. Of you've heard it, you've listened
if you like
to
it. Get a physical copy.
they should insert that like at the bottom. Like after you click here, you have 2 weeks to go get the tangible copy or get your ass to Warped Tour. Speaking of Warped Tour, what's up next for you guys after Warped Tour?
I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that's like scheduled that isn't announced yet, but we'll be touring basically till the end of the year now. We've got Reading and Leeds Festival in the UK when we get home, which is like a really big thing for us. It was like the festival we kind of
grew up going to.
Yeah. So that's going to be a big. I'm really excited about that. And then yeah, I mean it's one of them really boring answers where it's like there's stuff happening, but I can't really say anything.
Fair enough. That's kind of a Warped Tour tradition. You're not allowed to say a whole lot.
They normally announce it after Warped Tour, so they don't.
Oh, we've got the Pop Goes Punk thing.
Oh yeah, shit. We should probably talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, it's out in I think like 6 days.
Yep.
It's nice.
Coming out next Friday.
Yeah. Good. No more than me. Fuck.
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we covered 21 Pilots' song "Heathens" with a bunch of other great bands on the compilation. It's something that we kind of were a bit nervous about. You know, we'd never really done covers and stuff before, and I know a lot of bands kind of get lumped in and like they'll do that cover and everyone will just want to hear that cover, you know. But we had a load of fun doing it. I really like the cover, and I heard some of the songs actually last night for the first time. The other bands, and they're sick. There's a lot of really good covers in there. Like I'm not big. I don't think there's been much pop music in the last 2 or 3 years that I've heard that's been like, wow, this is great. But these covers they're sick. So yeah, it comes out. I think Fearless put it out, but it comes out on July 14th. Yeah. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah, so this Friday, not next Friday. This Friday. I don't know what day it is. It's like they all blend together. So yeah, we're getting there.
Groundhog Day. Like every day's the same.
Very true. Now, did you guys choose Heathens, or was it assigned to you? How did you come about to cover that song?
Yeah, you get given like a list basically of like kind of. Well, they take.
Was it on the list though?
It wasn't on the list.
I don't think it was on the list.
We found it and we chose it.
There was another 21 Pilot song on the list, but we chose a different one. We chose that one.
My mate CJ said, "Have you heard Heathens?" And I went, "Nah." And he put it on, and I was like, "This is cool." And then I was like, "What about this?" And then we covered it. So cheers, CJ. Appreciate it, mate. He's probably just finishing his shift. No watch on my hand at all. Just finishing his shift at Sainsbury's now. Yeah.
Well, then make sure you go out and get the tangible copy of Pop Goes Punk 7 this Friday. Stay tuned for much more from Boston Manor. This is Jackie. Thanks to Chorus FM and One Avenue.